You know, all week long we've been working on the topic of worship. But the question has to be in your mind, what is worship? How do we worship? If we were created to bring pleasure to God, if our desire is to put a smile on His face, if we need to surrender our lives to Him, if we want Him to be our best friend, if we want to experience this worship lifestyle, the question we've got to be asking is, how? How do we worship? In what way can we live our lives so that we truly do please God? Well, we've been using Rick Warren's The Purpose-Driven Life as kind of a guide through this process of discovering our purpose in life. And he gives 3 great examples of what true worship should be. You know, how we should worship. I want to go through them real fast with you. The first one is this, that God is pleased when we worship Him in an accurate way. What's an accurate way? Well, that's understanding who God is. You know, sometimes people say, I like to commune with God, and I think of Him as that great, big, strong, beautiful oak tree over there that reaches high up in the sky, and its branches are large, and the leaves are lush, and it's just beautiful, and it reminds me of how God is big and powerful, but that's not an accurate description of God. God is not a tree. God is not like a tree. So it's important that we understand who God is. He's our Creator. He's our Father. He's our Redeemer. He's our friend. And He wants to be worshipped in a way that is appropriate with who He is. So don't sit there, look out your window and say, oh, look at those beautiful stars. They make me worship God. And God's not in the stars. The second thing that he says is that God is pleased when our worship is authentic. You know, and that's important, that we worship Him in a genuine and real way. You know, not just going through motions, like, you know, you go to church on Sunday and you sing the songs and you say the prayers and you stand up and you sit down and you listen to the choir and say, oh, that's so beautiful. And you hear the message that the preacher brings, and, you know, that's not really worship. Worship is you coming and bringing yourself in a genuine and real way. You know, open your heart to Him. Worship Him. Tell Him that you love Him. Be real about who you are. That's worshiping God in a way that is authentic. The third thing he says is, God is pleased when our worship is thoughtful. You know, Paul talks about in one of his letters to one of the churches is that worship needs to be something that's orderly. You know, not just random kind of throw things out there, say a verse, maybe speak something good. No, worship is supposed to have an order to it. We're supposed to think about what we're doing. We're supposed to think about the words that we're saying and the prayers that maybe we're listening to. The words that we sing in the songs. You know, don't just sing them, but think about them, because those words are as we worship, they are what we're trying to communicate to God. You know, and when we can't figure out what to say, very often the lyrics from a song or the words of a verse or someone's prayer can be those words that we're trying to figure out what to say. I want to leave you with a verse for today. It's this. It's from John chapter 4, verse 23b. It says this: the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for they are the kind of worshipers that the Father seeks. Would you consider that today? Would you consider being the worshiper that God desires? One that worships in spirit and in truth. If you can put those things into practice, I know that you'll bring a smile to God's face. I know that you'll bring pleasure to Him. And I know that you'll be on the right track to discovering what your purpose is in this life. We'll see you next time.